It's okay. I'm just confirming with the stream that we're good here.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll keep going, and people can turn the volume up or something. So.
Okay. So is it streaming yet?
Yeah, we've been live. They think it's getting better. Okay. So go ahead to the whatever challenge you want to work on.
All right. I had just finished this simple adding, and as I said, finished meaning like I found a code that worked, but it wasn't all me.
Okay.
So what I've been doing, I don't know if this is the best way to do it or not, is I try and figure out the code, figure out something that'll work, compare with other users to get what works for them, and then redo it enough times so that I understand what all the little parts are and where they go, and I can replicate it from scratch.
Okay. Ladder, barely audible. I tried to.
Is that? I mean, if there,
Hold on. Now you're much quieter.
there's a better way to do it. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there is a better way, programmatically to do it. So let's go ahead and redo this challenge. So it's up here. So redo, and let's talk about it. So I tried to sign up with CoderByte, no verification email yet. All right, turn it up more. That's what I'm hearing. All right, guys, I literally have it turned up to it's turned up to 11. All right. Can you talk again, Brianna?
Yep. Yes, I can.
Okay. Just get the sound ladder first, then code. Okay. They want sound. Zoom your browser to 175%. What is that? That's 150, 175%. Perfect. Can you guys hear? All right, is the sound good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm talking to the people in stream.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Desktop audio is all the way up. So what's that? Okay. Output audio. Okay. Keep talking.
Okay. I will keep talking.
And trying to figure this out. Yeah, right? I know it's like la 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 la. Okay.
I can come up with plenty of things to say. I doubt they'll be very interesting, but I'm happy to keep talking.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I need to. Let's see.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that has to experiment with levels and making things work right.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So, output device should be. Okay. Can keep talking, and I'll ask everyone if they can hear you.
All right. Hello, I am Brianna. I like to code, and I am learning a lot. Slowly.
Yeah. Oh, I started out really slow too. Well, and I still ran into a lot of problems. Yeah, you can hear a Wookiee in the background because people are texting me while I'm streaming.
There's a Wookiee in the background?
Yeah, my text message tone is Chewbacca.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, well, can't take
My
it.
best friend's dog is named Wookiee, so when you said that, I thought of a dog instead of the actual Wookiee.
Nice.
Yeah, good name for a dog.
It's better than it was 5 minutes ago. My system volume is all the way up, folks. All the way up. my microphone is down, 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 down. So let me try.
I can just talk way louder if I need to. I can project if that'll help.
We're finding out. Okay, output volume is all the way up. Oh, okay, output. Yeah, that's all the way up. That's all the way up. Everything is turned up. So let's do that. Do that. Okay. Shoot me a message with your Skype name. We're going to try Skype.
Okay.
People are saying it's still not loud enough.
Okay. How can I in screen here?
Yep. Yeah, you can just send me your Skype stuff in there. All right. Okay, just 1 second, Brianna.
Yeah, no problem.
And Brianna sounds a lot better now. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, is your mic volume 100% in the Screen Hero settings?
Let me. Oh, that wasn't the right button. How do I check that? Screen Hero settings. Would that be under preferences?
Yeah, settings, preferences, and audio. Yep.
Automatic gain control right now.
You may. Yeah.
Advanced. I'm not seeing anywhere where I have an option to adjust
Turn
by level.
Turn your automatic gain control. Or wait, it says you may want to disable this. So, yeah, turn your gain control off.
Okay, done.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
I don't hear a difference, but perhaps the stream does. I don't know. We have to. Okay, it's perfect. I'm getting reports. It's perfect. All right.
Great.
Okay, so back to the coding area.
Yes.
All right. Am I too loud, guys? Can you hear her versus me pretty well? So let's talk about simple adding.
Okay.
All right. So when I started programming, what I found is really helpful is before
Hello,
you.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, it was really choppy there. It's really choppy for a second, but I think it's back.
Okay. So what I found was really helpful. Before you actually write any code, just go ahead and write in like some comments that you think are the steps required in order to solve the problem, and break each step down into the smallest unit of work possible that you can. So try and get to the point where you're only doing one thing.
Okay. So for here, the first thing being I have to. I mean, at some point I'd want to have a loop that subtracts 1 from num. and returns that into another variable. So I would need to create an empty variable. And loop, it subtracts 1 from num. Enter num minus 1 into the new variable, and then return that. Whatever empty var. So it won't be empty anymore. Am I on the right track?
Well, I would ask why you are subtracting from num. So remember, 3 minus 2 minus 1 is 0, right?
Yes.
But 0 plus 1 plus 2 is 3. So your iterative steps in that part, whether you add or subtract, doesn't make a lot of difference. I mean, you can do num minus 1 and put it in there, but when you read that, does that make sense? Or would it make more sense to say, if I have a loop starting, with my iterating variable is I, and I set I to, say, the first element in the array, and then I just, so input 12, right? So I set I to 0, and then I go, their output equals I, or plus equals I. So plus equals 0 at first, so it's 0. Then plus equals 1, plus equals 2. It's kind of a more intuitive approach to what you're adding up the numbers until you've added all the numbers in some range together, right?
Yeah, so until it gets to num, instead of trying to subtract to get every number and then add a whole nother step of adding all those together.
Right. Scroll your screen up. There. They give us this fancy overlay, and apparently, okay, here we are. So, so how would you go about writing that loop out? Go ahead and start doing it out. So we know we need to loop.
Right. It'd be a for loop. We'll start there. I equals 0 for everything until I gets to num and stays there, because you don't want to say it just as it goes and includes that number, and then.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead and finish that. I got to ask a question. It's not cheating, and in fact, I'm going to go over that in later. Keep tapping. I'm talking to the stream. Better and guns. I'm going to go over that because, in fact, if you do this in like C or C++, the compiler will change it in the object code to that what you typed. So.
Okay.
So keep going.
Say that one more time. I'm not sure I'm following.
No. Go ahead. So finish your loop, and we're actually going to cover something else.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to cover a math shortcut that does this.
Okay, great. So there I plus plus. Want me to go and do the next step too? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're in your loop now. So you're going to need some kind of variable to increment or decrement. If you're adding up, then you're going to increment it. So initialize variable to 0 somewhere outside your for loop.
Okay. We'll call this variable 2 equals. Should I set it equal to num or equal to 0?
I would set it equal to 0 because if you set it equal to num, whatever num you get past, it's going to start with the value 8.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. All right. So then in the for loop, I want it to add 1 to num 2 every time it goes through the loop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You want,
So,
yeah, you want to add the value of I to num2.
okay. Num2 is equal to num plus I, is that right? Or I? Or should I do...
Yes. There you go. Plus equals the value of I.
So I know what that means vaguely, but if I was asked to explain it, I couldn't. How do you explain that function?
It's essentially num2 equals num2 plus I.
Okay, gotcha.
So that is the same thing as this. So because in the assignment operator, it's going to evaluate the stuff on the right side first, and then go ahead and put it into the left side. So you can actually shorten that down, just syntactic sugar, and do plus equals I. So it saves you typing.
Okay.
All right. So maybe so then what do we need to do to finish this off?
We need to make sure it returns what we're changing instead of the original input.
Right. So go ahead and maybe test it and see.
Yay! 12.
Okay.
Great.
Now, before we submit this, I propose that there is a much better way to do this.
Okay.
So there is a little mathematical rule. So if you're summing up numbers in a range, and this can be done even if they don't start at, even if it doesn't start at 1. All right. Are you there? Yep.
Hang on, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? My internet really, I didn't understand much of that.
Yeah, no worries. So there's a much better way to do this. So you can actually sum up any range, really. It could be from 1 to 20. It could be from 15 to 20, but consecutive numbers. So there's a better way to do this.
Okay.
So, and the rule, and I'll actually let you type it out, but if you have some number, right, and you times it by the number, so if you times it by itself plus 1, right,
Uh-huh.
and you divide by 2, it'll give you the answer of the range.
Oh, okay.
So, and you can test this. We can get rid of the comment
Yeah, I would like to do that.
and return num times, and this could be factored out. So, and let's see if we do get our expected output here. So,
Okay, awesome.
and this is what I was saying to someone in chat. If you put a loop in like that sums up a range of numbers and it's a consecutive range, modern compilers will optimize your code and straight out replace your loop with something like this. And there's a little bit more math you can do. You can actually just add this same thing for your lower end. So if it was like sum the numbers 5 through 10, 5 plus 6 would all the way up to 10, you would do this, and then you would subtract out the range of 1 through 5, I think it is. So,
Yeah, that makes
yep.
cool. I had no idea that was even a thing. That's awesome.
So, anyway, the core, really the core is write down some steps first before you actually try to write out code. Because as you're coding and you're new to coding, it's going to be really difficult to remember all the syntax and remember, this structure and that structure and what is going on here, and is this a function or an object, and, so if you write the steps out, then you give yourself a checklist and then go off the checklist.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. That's something actually I tried the Coder Byte challenge after this. I just started that kind of process because I was finding as I go through it, it's like by the time I get to the second step, I don't even remember what function I was trying to do in the first step. And like you said, is that even a function, or what's the syntax for that? So yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a really good way to look at these, especially as a beginner.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Yeah, let's do it. So that math shortcut that we just used, are there a lot of things like that for?
Kind of, yeah. It You don't need to be good at math to be a programmer, but like the more general, in my opinion, and from what I've seen and read, the more general knowledge base you have of maths, you'll be able to take shortcuts that other people just wouldn't know about. But you'll pick up those shortcuts as you keep learning to code.
Awesome.
Because like when you search for an answer on Stack Overflow or something like that,
Right.
and it's got 2,000 upvotes, chances are it's got a good answer. That's got a shortcut if there is one. And okay.
All right. So this one I started.
Okay.
And like I said, let me try and load. I think I tried to save what I'd worked on. I don't know if it makes any sense. Did it pop up? Nope.
Doesn't look like it.
Nope, guess not. Okay. So this is another one that I was trying to figure out an answer and just looking it up because I felt like I didn't even know where to start. So for steps for this, I would like to find each word in the string, identify the first letter, and then capitalize it. And there is a function for that, and that's the to uppercase, right?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
So
Is that the right track?
yeah, it looks yeah. So how would you find each word in the string?
I was thinking about trying to use regex.
I wouldn't go with regex on this one.
Okay.
So it's kind of a taking a sledgehammer to kill an ant.
Okay.
So, okay, what is it? So what does our problem spec tell us?
I noticed that one of the things it mentions is that words are separated by only one space.
Right. So let's visit the handy dandy MDN, and
Okay.
let's go to string. Right. So you should definitely have the MDN bookmarked.
Okay.
And so you can see all the built-in methods that ECMA gives you. And there happens to be a really awesome method right here called split. Do you see it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let's give that a read.
Okay, split method splits a string object into an array of strings. Okay, so that would be a good way to split it into words.
Yes. And the separator is optional. If you don't provide a separator, it actually just returns you the string as an array of characters. Or it just returns a string in one array object. If you specify an empty string, it's going to give you each character, including spaces, as each element in a string. And if you specify a space, it will separate on spaces. So let's go ahead and see how that works. All right.
Okay.
So let's return string.split and see what output we get first, right? And you can see it converted it into an array with the string inside, right? Now,
the single.
if we specify the empty string, then we get including spaces, right? Now, if we separate on spaces, so
Okay, awesome. So that's check.
yep.
Return split string. Okay. So for the next one, identify the first letter. This one is, I know there's something where it's like I can find the first position, and if I enter 0.
Yeah. So you're thinking array, just array syntax, right? So okay, one of the things about split is we have to assign it to something. So we're going to go ahead and assign the result of splitting the string back to string. So now string is an array. All right.
Okay.
So when you want to access elements in an array, remember it's just it's the array plus the index of the element you want. So index 0 returns the first element of an array.
Okay, gotcha. So could I write something that was like 2 uppercase string 0?
Well, what is 2 uppercase? Is it a function or is it a method?
I don't know. That's a great question.
So we have methods, right? And notice how these methods all have string prepended to them. So the so if we go down in 2 uppercase, and we can actually I guess I clicked on 2 lowercase. So you can see the MDN is really good about giving you examples of how to use. So the string needs to get, so you need to specify the string, and then you use the operator on the string. So it would actually be more like this.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't realize that was the difference between function and method. Maybe that's silly, but that makes more sense now.
Yeah, and it's a minor difference. They're kind of almost the same in that they say function a lot of times, and and they return things and stuff like that. But a standalone function would take an argument and then give you something. A method on an object still can take an argument, but generally it performs some kind of function attached on the object it's attached to.
Okay, that makes sense. Mostly. I think I get it. Okay. So string 02 uppercase. And then I want to return that somewhere, right?
Well, we want to assign it, right? So because it does. So another thing too is when you're looking, recalling. So it returns the calling string value converted to uppercase, but it's missing something here, and I'm going to pull up the standard object so that you can see when you reference this in the future. So if we go to array, and as an example, let's pull up sort. All right. See these 2 words, in place? So in place means that this will perform the operation on the object that you called it on. So if you called string.sort and gave it some sorting function, it would actually sort that string in place, and you wouldn't need to assign the value back in order to retain the value. If it does not say in place, you need to assign the value in order to retain it. So what that means is you need to do something like this.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Otherwise, it would just not know where to put it?
Yep.
Okay. So right now, as it stands right now, the code can divide it into words, and it can take the first place of every, place it with the uppercase character of that same.
Right.
Okay. So what else do we have to do still?
All right. Well, so we really haven't found each word in the string yet. So, or we have by assigning it into an array. So maybe we should iterate over the array of words.
Okay.
So I would.
They're divided, but we haven't found them yet.
Right. So we just have a string 0, and if you called string 0.2 uppercase, this would uppercase the whole first word, right? So and we can test that. So as you're developing, don't be afraid to just return stuff as you're going along.
See what it does, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Most of the time, processors and memory and everything in a computer remains unused. Don't be afraid to use it. You've already paid for it.
Right. Might as well run it and see. Well, that helps me see exactly like what I think it's saying, but what is it actually saying?
Right.
Okay, so we need to still find each word individually. So are we going to do something like split again to each?
I wouldn't, because you can use array syntax to access the characters that make up a word. And I'll show you that in a second. So let's go ahead and iterate over the string array. And all right, you there?
Let's go ahead and iterate.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry, the connection was lost.
It's okay. It keeps popping up. I'm not sure why. Okay, so iterate over the string array. Over the string array.
Okay. Okay, iterate over the string array.
So, are you a little hesitant on how to do this?
Yes, it just loaded for my screen, so I'm trying to, my computer processed it, now I'm trying to process it. Iterate over the string array. I remember going over how to do that, but I don't remember exactly how. Gotcha. Okay, so when we're in there, if we don't need to make another if loop or anything. I'm making it too complicated. While it goes through there, we just need to. Are we going to try and separate the array into 3 different strings?
No, it's already going to be separated for us. We're going to have each word now as something.
Okay.
So string I is going to be a word.
Oh, I see.
And you can return that, and it'll short circuit the for loop. But you can return that, and you can see that it's each string I represents a word, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. So for string I, every time it gets to string I, we want to take the first character and capitalize it. Because if we just do 2 uppercase of string I, it'll do the whole word.
Right.
Okay. So should we slice it?
No. Well, yeah. Slicing is probably good to use here.
Okay. So we want to... now, is slice a method or a function?
Slice is a method.
Okay. So would slice, and then I can do 0 or 1, no, 0, 2 uppercase, and then plus the rest of the string. Would that work?
I wouldn't slice this here because so when you slice, you're making a new array essentially. You're saying give me an array back that is a slice of whatever array I'm calling this on.
Okay, and I don't want to make another array.
Right, and slice or string, sorry, and you are going to use slice, but for the first element, you can already get the first element just by the 0 index, right?
Oh. Okay. How do I do that?
Okay, so what is string I?
String I is the word argument right now.
Right now, right? So what is string I 0?
0 is the A.
Well, let's find out. It is.
Yay! Okay, so then I can I didn't realize you could layer those that way.
Yeah, and that's multi-dimensional lookup. So like if you have an array of arrays, and it can go really, really deep, but you can keep looking further and further down.
Okay, just by doing these guys. Okay, cool. So I could do 2 uppercase here, and that'll return just the A. And if the A wasn't uppercase, here, I'm going to do this, then it still should return it as a capital A.
Indeed.
Good, but now the rest of the sentence is missing.
Indeed it is. So, and we don't want to return out of our for loop, right? So
that's true.
Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And remember how I said we need to assign the value of stuff? So
yes.
Let's all right, and then in order to get the rest of it,
then do we slice?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay, so slice starting at the first character.
Right, but what is slice?
It's a method, so I need to say string slice. String I slice.
Okay, and how do you give arguments to a method?
I give it parentheses.
Right, instead of brackets.
I don't know what to put inside of them.
So instead of brackets, right? And if you don't know what to put inside of it...
Oh, okay, no bracket.
Right, and if you don't know what to put inside of it, then... the portion of an array into a new array object, so begin and end, right? So begin is the 0-based index at which to begin extraction, and so if you omit anything to it, then it begins at 0, which would basically give you a starting one unless you specify an end, right? And if end is omitted, slice extracts to the end of the sequence, array.length. So if you just give it...
want in this case, right?
Right. So we want it to go to the end of the sequence, right? And we want to start at index 1, because index 1 would be from here, so slice would return all of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Does it?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Maybe we should... Let's get rid of the 2 uppercase call here.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably screwing it up. Okay. Good, it did it.
It did, but it doesn't give us...
It did it for every word.
It does, because we're iterating through the array of words in a loop. So,
Good.
yeah. Now, the only other thing is we somehow need to extract these back out of an array and put them in a string so that it's nice to read, right?
Right.
So there is a method, and we won't look it up. I'll just explain it. It's called join. It's called join. Okay, and this is an array method. All right, and it takes an argument based on what you want them with, or what the separator should be. So if you don't specify a separator, it gives it a comma. All right. If you specify, say, that, it's going to give them that. So that gives you an idea. So if you specify it with a space, it gives you your string back that was separated by a space that you initially split off of.
That we split off. So generally, if the split method is going to be used, the join method is usually also used on the other side of some kind of function? Not always?
Not always. For a lot of the programming challenges, yeah, probably. But not like don't always expect to call join after split and further down the road. So
okay.
So it looks good for this one. Maybe give it something like.
Oh no. Yeah, that's not going to work.
So what do we need to do?
We need to add a method. Will it be after the no? Well, I don't know. We're going to need to add a to lowercase method. I'm going to try adding it here. To lowercase.
Okay, now there's no lint. Yeah, so make sure that they're optional technically in JavaScript, but never forget to close your stuff out with semicolons. So go ahead and run it and see what it does.
It did it.
It did.
Great. Okay, so is it done?
I don't know. Is it done?
I mean, I think it's done. I'm pretty sure anything I put here, it'll spit it out the right way.
Okay, so go ahead and submit the code.
Oh, what is it going to do to a question mark?
Well, why don't you run the code and check?
Oh. It didn't do any. Oh, it did it right. Okay. Good. Then it's done, I think. Time period points not so great, but it's accurate, so that's good.
It's okay. Do you want to see something that you can do?
Yes.
Okay. Analyze code. We'll come down here and we'll grab our code. All right, copy. Redo. Yep.
So cheating, basically. This is why everybody on here has great times for everything they do.
Yeah, like completed in less than like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Why do they even add that function if everybody just cheats?
It was probably a what if thing.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for your help.
Yeah. Do you want to do one more?
Sure. Yeah, let's go on and do the next one.
All right.
Okay, next challenge.
Next challenge. Yeah, I'm letting you drive, so.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Take this challenge. JavaScript. All right. Using the JavaScript language, have the function symbol symbols, which is already in there. Take the string parameter being passed and determine if it's acceptable sequence by returning true or false. Okay. The string parameter will have plus and equal symbols with several letters between them. And for the string to be true, each letter must have a plus sign symbol before and after it.
Mm-hmm.
The left would be false because the A does not have a plus sign before or after it. The string will not be empty and will have at least one letter that must have plus sign on either side for it to be true. Okay. So I want to find each letter character in the string. I want to search before and after it for that, which is a non-letter character. And I want to be able to evaluate that as a Boolean, right?
Well, you need to, yeah. So,
Boolean, but that can really just be output as a string, right?
well, you're going to return true or false.
True or false. So there will be an if loop included in here.
There will be an if conditional, yes.
If conditional. Ifs are not loops.
Ifs are not loops.
Okay. So there will be an if conditional, probably before the evaluation. That's going to be, we'll do an if conditional, and then if it has the plus signs, then it'll be true. If it doesn't, it'll be false. Okay. Am I missing any steps?
I don't think so. I think you've got a pretty solid idea of what you need to do. So let's put it into code.
Okay. So for finding each letter character, am I going to use regex here?
You could, but again, it's using a sledgehammer to kill an ant.
Okay. So a simpler way to go about it would be...
So what I would do, and this is just me, all right, you could do some regex and you could do some fancy matching and build a really neat query that checks whether, you know, a plus sign is followed by a letter and then a plus sign, and, you know, or if a letter has a plus sign before or after, and you could do all that. Or you could simply iterate through your string, and if you find a letter, look back one element. If that element isn't a plus and the element after it isn't a plus, then return false.
Okay. So is iterating through the string the first step?
That's what I would do, yeah.
Okay, so with a for loop?
Yeah, for loop is generally the best way to iterate through stuff. You can do for in, but they're actually slower than straight for loops. So.
Okay. Okay, so for, we're going to start with variable I equal to 0 for until I is, my brain's getting tired, as I is less than string length, or equal to string length?
No.
Well,
because string.length, right, would return, so if we were just to look at this, string length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's what string length is. But this is index 0, index 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want this to never go to 5. JavaScript won't complain at you about it, but you can get some weird behavior. And in other languages, if you go outside the bounds of an array, it'll crash the program. So it's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize it mattered that much, but I guess it does. Because like you said, in JavaScript and what I've done, it hasn't ever said anything about it. Okay. And we want to go by 1. Okay. So that's iterating through each character in the string.
Yeah. And I'm getting reports that it's quiet again.
Okay. I didn't change anything, but I can look at the setting again.
Yeah, I haven't changed anything either.
Settings, preferences, audio. The automatic gain control's off.
Okay. Connection was lost. Okay, you're back. Good. Okay.
Is it better?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
But we'll drive on.
Okay. So in the for loop, I'm iterating through each string. Is it time to start the if condition? Because if it's a letter, then I need to do another thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So if now this is where I'm not sure. How do I define the letter character?
All right. So here is where we would use some regex, right? And I'm going to go ahead and type just to make it a little faster. Okay. So to make a new regex, an on-the-fly regex object, you do a slash, and then we want to actually look through the range A to Z, right? And then we'll give it the flag I because that means ignore case. Okay. Now regex has a test method. And so it'll test that regex against whatever you provide. So let's go ahead and pass it the character that we're looking at, and we could go ahead and take a look there. So that will return true if string I is in the range of A to Z.
Okay. Character in string I, which is string I.
Yeah. So the other thing that I would say to do, because remember how we're going to look behind?
Uh-huh.
So what's something we know if we're starting at index 0 and it's a letter?
Then it's false.
Right. So...
Okay. So we could just define that case now. If, wait, I want to add this. So if it's the first thing and it's the first letter, how do I, because right now it's string I, it's just any character.
So I would just take this, let's bump that in, okay? And, well, we could just do if I is equal to 0, right? Mm-hmm. Then you could, right. What is going on here? Okay. Okay, and there's really no reason to even continue on past that point, right?
Because there's no way it could possibly be true.
Right. Why is it given? Okay, 444. Why is it indenting this? So very important to close your methods. So I forgot a parentheses on test, and so the if needs to be surrounded by its own set of parentheses, and then you have to close the parentheses on a method.
And test.
Yeah. So okay.
Okay.
So so we're still in the if, so we know it's a letter.
Yes, we know it's a letter. We should look backwards.
Right. Connection was lost, reconnecting. Set, guys, running into an issue. Just 1 second, guys. I'm going to restart the screen hero here. All right, you there?
Hello?
Yeah, hey. So,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? 1 second.
It's going to let me type. Let's see.
Preferences, audio.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Let me check my preferences. No, I'm not on mute.
Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me?
We need to call Comcast and get our internet fixed. This is really annoying.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, you can hear me? Good. I can't hear you. Yep. Nope. Can't hear you. But I think I know what I need to do next to solve this problem. Subtract 1 from I. Oh, second, please. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Now let me check and oh, wait, don't click.
I'm not clicking.
Yeah, well, when you click around at all, it steals my mouse cursor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
It's okay.
Probably been very annoying. I'm sorry.
All right, so let's go back and do what we need to do.
Okay. So I want to subtract 1 from I and check if that is a plus. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I minus 1, or
Well,
let's see, if I minus 1,
so what is I minus 1 in this case?
what was that?
What does I minus 1 represent in this case?
A character in the string.
Okay, what string?
The input string.
Okay, how are you referencing it? So, remember, you need to reference that string, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so if the string I minus 1 is equal to... Now, is this the right way to do that? Like the plus sign?
Yeah, but give it, surround it by a set of single or double quotes.
Okay.
Oh, apparently people can hear you more clearly now, which is good.
Oh, great. Okay, so if that is true, then I want to check for another thing. So here could I do and string I plus 1 equals the plus sign. Then I will return true.
Well, what happens if you return true? What happens if I give a string, okay, connection lost. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, there you are. Yeah, your audio came back. It's okay. So what happens if I give it this string right here? If you return true in here, it's gonna iterate. It's gonna ignore this because it's not a letter, right? So it's gonna move to the next one, which would be D in this case, and it's going to say, okay, yeah, the index of D minus 1 is equals a plus. The index of D plus 1 equals a plus. So return true. But according to the problem statement, it wouldn't be true because this doesn't have a plus behind it, right?
Right. It has to be true for every letter, not just one.
Right. So we do have a true-false here that we can use, right? So this is going to return true if this happens, right? So what if we flip this and said, if this isn't true, then just return false?
Okay. Yeah, that would cover it because it would loop through the whole string.
Yes.
Okay, so the way to say that would be...
No. You don't have to change it there. I mean, you could do that. You could do does not equal, or you could do something like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot simpler.
And this is so when you're reading this and you're looking at code or as something. So if you see this, they're basically saying if not this statement.
So if not this entire thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I would return false underneath that.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Return false. Do I need to put does this need to be else if?
No, because it's within the it's within this if statement. The brackets are just kind of messed up. Let me go ahead and indent these for you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. And I don't need. Okay, I'm just going to try it and see if it works. False. Okay. Let me see if I add there. Now it doesn't know what to return, does it?
Well, it does know what to return. You're telling it to return the string if it is okay.
Okay, so here I should just change string to true.
Well, give it a shot.
Here. Return true. Okay. Sorry, my screen is taking a long time to load because of my slow internet connection.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
So maybe pass it these other validation strings just to make sure that the input is saying.
D plus equals 3 equals plus S plus. Code.
And it came back as true.
Great. And then...
You can just double click on this and it should highlight the string for you. And then you can just copy paste.
Oh.
So, or maybe not double click, but you can just highlight it real fast and then paste. It'll save you a few seconds here and there adds up to hours of your life.
That's very true. You're right. All right. So is it ready to submit?
If you're happy with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I can't think of any other cases. Awesome. And I actually got more than 0 time period points.
Yeah.
So that's good. Awesome. Well, thank you for your help.
Yeah, no worries. Let me see. If you want to keep going and people want to keep watching, we can keep going. Or, it's up to you.
It is about my bedtime. I am early to bed, early to rise. I teach kindergarten through 2nd grade, and I have to